today's jobs report, another grim reminder that things do remain pretty tough out there, and even big business still cutting back. UPS, in fact, today announcing 1,800 job cuts. Lockheed Martin 2 days ago slashing as many as 1,200 employees. So what does this tell us about where we are with the jobs recovery? Bloomberg's Zahra Burton is tracking the side of the story. Zahra, what have you found out?
And you know, Laura, it's not just UPS and Lockheed Martin this week. You're talking about since November, we've heard from Sprint, we've heard from Johnson & Johnson, Electronic Arts, all slashing thousands of jobs. And you know, I asked the question to one economist, and in fact, the most pessimistic economist on today's jobs report, is this important to the overall pictures? And what does it mean that these big name companies at this stage of the cycle are actually slashing jobs? Now, this economist, Jim O'Sullivan, he's with MF Global. He's saying you're always going to have these kinds of layoffs, even in good times. He's actually more encouraged by the large business sector than the small business sector. He's looking at the Challenger report that we got this week, the fact that that tracks all these layoff announcements in aggregate, that showed a fall of about 73%, so plunging from a year ago, and 10% in December from November. His big worry, small businesses, whereas as of November, more companies are still firing than hiring, Lori.
All right, so why is the small business hiring component so important here?
All right, this chart kind of tells that story, and I want to point you through 2000. Now, from 2000, as you can see, every time we've gotten positive payroll growth, that yellow line is the positive payroll growth. We've actually seen the white line, which is the NFIB hiring index, actually positive. What we've seen through this recession, of course, plunging, worst of the decade, and that has actually turned even more negative from October to November. Now, we're going to be getting this report again on Tuesday. Again, it's the National Federation of Independent Business report due out on Tuesday. Jim O'Sullivan, again from MF Global, he was telling me if it is negative again, and if it doesn't become positive very soon, it could be a problem for the growth and the strength of the job recovery story. He doesn't say it can't happen, however. In fact, he's looking for first quarter growth in jobs at some point, whether that's January, whether that's February. Of course, we got that revised number in November. He's basically saying small business activity is being constrained by tighter credit still. That's what we heard from the NFIB last month. We'll see what happens this month, but he does say that because large caps have a lot more access to capital, they can go out there and raise money through bond issuances and the like. Small businesses are more constrained. He does see some activity in the large sector that he feels confident about. However, it's the strength of that job growth recovery that could be restrained based on this small business situation, Lori.
Certainly a very important component of the job story, small business. Zahra, many thanks.